So please join me as I request Honorable Shri Jagdeep Dhankar ji for his valedictory address.
Good evening, all of you. Frankly, I'm not used to such kind of order. I'm more used to disorder in the House. And secondly, when I sit in the chair, as Chairman Rajya Sabha, on my right is the government, on the left is the opposition. Today there's a strange combination. Excellence, sublimity of bar and bench on my right side. One regret that I have of parting with the jealous mistress, the legal profession, by becoming Governor of State of West Bengal and now the Vice President, I did not have the occasion to appear before one of the finest judges of this country, Justice P.S. Narasimha. And similarly had no occasion to cross swords with another legal luminary, Shri Tushar Mehta, are source of inspiration, motivation for me, because rarely there is combination where dedication, excellence, commitment, and nationalism converge. Very soothing experience. Justice P.S. Narasimha, Justice Supreme Court of India, Justice Prakash Srivastava ji, Chairperson National Green Tribunal. I know him while he was Chief Justice, Calcutta High Court, while I was in Kolkata, because the High Court continues to be known as Calcutta High Court. Exemplified highest judicial decorum and standards, and was not eyesore to anyone fructifying, game-changing decisions. A Chairman Green Tribunal, National Green Tribunal, you know what he is. But I must share one thing that is common between us. We both fear our wives. Pradeepti is here, so is Dr. Sudesh. They are our strength. Shri Tushar Mehta ji has equal challenge in the family as we have. No issue on that. Shri Tanmay Kumar, an IAS officer, I have admired him for a long time, he knows it. So he was a little stunned that I still recollect that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nothing has happened to me by virtue of these constitutional offices. I am what I am. The only loss that I have is the legal profession is known as a jealous mistress. I quoted the jealous mistress when I joined the bar, the year I was married. So along with my wife, there was a jealous mistress. But it was very thoughtful of President of India, Ramnath Kovind ji. He chose 20th of July 2019 that I forsake the jealous mistress, because that happened to be the birthday of my wife. We have in the audience distinguished Chief Justices, Acting Chief Justices, judges, lawyers, environmentalists, boys and girls. But I must recognize the presence of some. Justice Vishwanath Somadar, I have one thing in common with him. We both belong to Daughters Club. He has a daughter, so do we have. And had the satisfaction of knowing him for long. Justice Ashutosh Kumar, Acting Chief Justice, Patna High Court, I'm sure I'll be making some mistake. So I leave it at that. My greetings to all of you. When I reflected on 20th of July, my wife's birthday, it doesn't end there. 20th of July, Neil Armstrong in 1969 landed on moon for the first time. But my wife was born 12 years before. But what Neil Armstrong said is extremely relevant today for what we are discussing and deliberating. Neil Armstrong reflected, I quote him, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." That is what we need to deal with the issue. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a privilege to address the valedictory session of this National Conference on Environment. Grateful to Chairman Prakash Srivastava for securing convergence of over 1,200 environmental experts, judicial and administrative minds, as also most vital stakeholders, young boys and girls. They are supremely interested both in democracy and environment. They will go a long way. I am confident the deliberations over the last 2 days must have been very fruitful and must have generated a lot of hope and possibility. Our planet faces, in the shape of climate change, not an ordinary challenge. It's existential challenge. And nature of the existential challenge is unknown to history ever before. The situation is critical and cliffhanging and far too long, engaging attention of everyone, governments and people all over the globe. The solution to this burning issue is complexed by the belief that someone else will fix it. This is not to be true. We'll have to do it on our own. There is now live realization of this menace. It has to be moderated to begin with and solved by all of us in tandem and togetherness. Resolute addressing of the problem is paramount, and neither we have the time nor we have another planet to cohabit. This problem of huge dimensions has to be fixed by all individuals, acting individually, organizations and the governments, with immediate, urgent, concerted and sustained effort. Let me share with the distinguished audience. Everyone is positioned to make his or her contribution. And the contribution, when converges in totality, will be result-oriented. We need to realize we are trustees of everything offered by Mother Earth, and there is divine ordainment that we must pass on to the future generations all this in good shape. Writing on the wall, have we done it? Answer comes from within, certainly not. The present scenario is alarming, daunting, and far distanced from what it should have been. In such a scenario, an institution like the National Green Tribunal, in the largest democracy, habitat for 1/6 of humanity, is playing vital and significant role, catalyzing scenario for containment and searching for solutions. I join Justice P.S. Narasimha in complimenting Justice Srivastava for taking this initiative, and it is not a day too soon. India happens to be the third country, as was reflected, not by this number as such, by Shri Tushar Mehta, that we have taken a number of initiatives, innovative steps, affirmative government policies in the country. But we were amongst the first 3 in the world to have an institution and regulator like the National Green Tribunal. Distinguished audience, not many countries in the world can claim to have civilizational depth which we as Bharat have. Thousands of years of civilizational ethos. Long before sustainability became a global buzzword, much long before, centuries before it became global buzzword. India lived it for centuries, where every banyan tree was a temple, every river a goddess, and waste an unknown concept in a civilization that worshipped circularity. Our Vedic literature is gold mine for nurturing of Mother Earth and propagating harmony between man and nature. From Ayurveda's live in harmony to Gandhi's world has enough for need, not for greed. The wise sage who transformed democratic landscape of the world, bringing about change through non-violence. He said, world has everything, earth has everything for need, but not for greed. India's DNA carries the only vaccine against ecological collapse, conspicuous consumption. We only have to read what is there in our gold mine. Environmental depredation, if we see the cause of it, it is brought about on the planet only by one species amongst living beings. We do it. No one else does it. Distinguished audience, we have to be aware. The planet is not exclusive to us. We are not its owners. Flora and fauna must flourish and blossom alongside, and so must all other living beings. In such a scenario, man will have to learn to live in harmony with nature and other living beings. Are we doing it? No. Every technological development increasing human prowess is used to captivate and make others' life vulnerable, other living beings. There will have to be individual focus on optimal utilization of resources of the nature. This has to be our habit. Our fiscal power, our fiscal capacity cannot determine the use of natural resources. The consumption has to be optimal. We are paying heavy price already for reckless exploitation of these resources and thoughtless consumption, conspicuous and lacking empathy. Distinguished audience, protecting Earth for future generations, an urgent need calls for sustainable practices that recognize nature's inherent worth while reconciling conservation with development needs. It's a delicate balance, and NGT is required to navigate the fine print of it. Human activities, particularly climate change and water management, now influence seismic events. Studies have revealed earthquakes, we all know, are normally because of tectonic processes. But then, the way we conserve waters, build dams, and get them emptied is a cause, a profound impact on geological situations. And therefore, there is global need to evolve and believe in environmental ethics. This underscores humans' moral obligations to protect and preserve the environment, recognizing nature's intrinsic value and the interconnection of all living beings. I can assure you, once we lose it, we know the worth of it. Let us realize the worth before we lose it forever. Both ecological extension and conservation ethics advocate harmonious human-nature relationship, and so easy to bring about. It doesn't call for anything but a positive mindset towards life. We have to focus on environmental preservation and prudent resource stewardship for generational sustainability. Friends, global environmental challenges necessitate cross-border cooperation and innovative strategies that simultaneously advance ecological sustainability and economic development. No individual, no group, no nation can by itself resolve this issue. It has to be done by one and all on the planet. There will have to be convergence. I am so glad that a step has been taken by the chairman, NGT, Mr. Srivastava, by having this conference. More of it, and it's kind of needed. Environmental security must inform nuclear policy also. We all know weapon systems have huge ecological impact, from manufacturing through potential deployment, pose existential risks that undermine their purported security benefits. Something that is for security will result in our defacement from the planet. There has to be a thought process. Developed nations must transcend political boundaries in environmental thinking, adopting models where planetary health becomes foundational to human prosperity and well-being. They cannot isolate themselves. Okay, we are doing fine. We have means, technological means, to generate a healthy ecosystem. It can last for some years, but not forever. They will have to be enveloped into the menace if they do not join the rest of the global community. Friends, just look around. Proliferation of air purifiers, masks, water filters, generators, usually witnessed in last few decades. They represent the grievous symptoms of environmental degradation rather than solutions. Authentic progress requires eliminating pollution sources. We have to eliminate them because they are created by us. They are man-made. Transforming our relationship with nature and exploitation to stewardship. The Bhopal gas tragedy, lessons is still unlearned. The Union Carbide leakage of 1984. I think, if I'm not wrong, it was in 2015 that Justice Srivastava, the judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court, dealt with, as a commissioner, what compensation could be given. It was mega environmental negligence. Even after 4 decades, families suffer generation after generation, genetic disorders and groundwater contamination. 30 years after it, as I reflected, Justice Srivastava dealt with an issue for welfare of the victims. Just imagine how pathetic was the lack of awareness. We did not have an institution like NGT. We did not have a regulatory regime that could address the issue. Things would have been very different if there had been a regulatory regime of the current level then. Distinguished audience, there is a growing concern that environmental justice often follows a troubling pattern of 4 Ds: delay, deny, dispose, dissolve. This cycle must be broken. I am happy to note NGT is catalyzing sensitization on all fronts on this aspect. And I am sure intervention to the NGT exercise will be scarce. It is an expert body. I am not for a moment questioning anybody's authority or power, sir. But then when expert bodies function and have the facility of getting expertise from people who are really knowledgeable, stalling their action delays environmental protection. It is soothing to note the National Green Tribunal shift from delay to decisiveness from denial to accountability, from mere disposal to true restoration, and from dissolution to sustainable resolution, is increasingly getting respect of the people, institutions, corporate world, and workers. Our environmental jurisprudence in the country has to grow by looking into our reservoir, I said, gold mine, reflected in our Vedic literature. Fortunately, trends are emerging that now transcend remediation to embracing ecological preservation as a fundamental mandate. Why should we get into remediation, repair? Let us keep an eye, eagle's eye. Let us keep it in deep focus. Why should there be not preservation? I must admire and compliment the chairman NGT. He has spared no efforts to secure scientific expertise to assist, and this is turning out to be a cutting edge to NGT's adjudicatory functions, helping it play a visionary role in environmental governance. The tribunal's environmental jurisprudence is progressively integrating emerging scientific understanding with established legal doctrines, and I can share it with you, having had modest global exposure. The tribunal's judgments are looked with great deference globally. Invoking the power to interpret the Constitution, the Supreme Court has, and I would say earliest in the world, given dimensions to Article 21, that healthy environment and right to clean air are integral, inalienable facets of Article 21. Friends, despite the synergy between our constitutional values and cultural ethos, there is now urgent need to deal with citizenry neglect that is widely evident. I reflect on occasions, no Indian who is abroad throws a banana skin out of a running vehicle. No one does it. Why we have negligence on our holy land? Citizens must be sensitized and made aware. Such kind of conferences, as indicated by Justice Narasimha, play a pivotal role because they get media attention and traction. Steps have been taken by the government, and I can share it, many steps. They're game-changing. Toilet in the house, gas connection in the house. Just imagine making that kind of bulbs, making solar power available. Just imagine, just a decade ago, our solar power capacity was in single-digit gigawatt. It is now beyond 100 gigawatt. We have International Solar Alliance here. During G20, India took the initiative for biofuels. So world is changing, but India is changing fastest in last 10 years, both in economy, infrastructure. But we need to do more because we have to lead on the front foot for the entire world and humanity. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. At an individual level, we have to be constantly mindful of the environment as guided by one of the Panch Prans, पर्यावरण संरक्षण. ये हमारा धर्म है, ये हमारा कर्म होना चाहिए, ये हमारा दैनिक कर्म होना चाहिए. इसको करने से हम खुद को लाभ कर देते हैं, समाज को लाभ देते हैं, देश को देते हैं, दुनिया को देते हैं. We should proactively try to reduce our carbon footprint. And mind you, India is the only country where the Prime Minister could declare that not only we abide by the Paris Declaration, but we will meet the target ahead of other nations, and the world has applauded us. The way I look, Chairman Srivastava, to NGT, and for nurturing, G for green and T for tomorrow. So NGT for me is nurturing green for tomorrow. Friends, this is not just wordplay. It is vision of an institution that connects law, science, and ethics to transform our relationship with nature. Let us draw from our Vedic roots, wield cutting-edge tools, and uphold climate justice with unwavering resolve. Shanti part from Yajurveda. I'll conclude with that. Let peace prevail in the sky and space. Let peace reign and radiate in earth, in water, and in all plants. Let peace prevail everywhere. दो शांति है, अंतरिक्ष शांति है, पृथ्वी शांति, आप है, शांति है, वनस्पति शांति है. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. The earth is not for us to conquer. It is for us to cherish and pass on to posterity, to future generations. The NGT, with its blend of judicial mind and moral clarity, is uniquely positioned to lead the charge under the guidance of Justice Prakash Srivastava. I am grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Thank you, Honourable Vice President, sir, for your very inspiring and thoughtful address, inspiring everyone's ethical, moral, spiritual and individual responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to please rise for the national anthem. To please rise for the national anthem. Jai Hind. Thank you once again, Honourable Vice President, sir, for your very thoughtful
का सौगात छत्तीसगढ़ को दिया है। इसके लिए पूरे छत्तीसगढ़ के 3 करोड़ जनता के तरफ से आपका बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करते हुए, और आज हिंदू नववर्ष का प्रथम दिन है, नवरात्रि का भी आज शुभारंभ है। इसकी आप सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत बधाई धन्यवाद देते हुए अपनी बात समाप्त करता हूं। जय भारत, जय छत्तीसगढ़।
बहुत बहुत आभार माननीय मुख्यमंत्री श्री विष्णुदेव साय जी का। देव सज्जनों, जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री महोदय इस प्रदेश के विकास को गति देने और सतत आजीविका के लक्ष्य को हासिल करने के उद्देश्य से यहां 33,700 करोड़ रुपए से भी अधिक की परियोजनाओं का कार्य प्रारंभ, शिलान्यास और लोकार्पण करने जा रहे हैं। इनमें बिजली, तेल, गैस, रेलवे, सड़क, शिक्षा और आवास से जुड़ी हुई बहुत सारी महत्वपूर्ण परियोजनाएं शामिल हैं। इन सभी परियोजनाओं पर आधारित एक वीडियो फिल्म हमने तैयार की है, जिसमें इन सब का संक्षिप्त विवरण शामिल है। आइए देखते हैं ये वीडियो।
असीमित संभावनाओं वाला देश भारत आज माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के दूरदर्शी और कुशल नेतृत्व में अद्भुत विकास की ओर अग्रसर है। इस विकास यात्रा का लक्ष्य भारत को 2047 तक विकसित भारत बनाना है। भारत के इन बढ़ते कदमों को गति देने में ऊर्जा एक अहम भूमिका अदा कर रही है। वहीं विकसित भारत के लिए मजबूत बुनियादी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार किया जा रहा है।
21वीं सदी की आधुनिक जरूरतों को पूरा करने वाले ऐसे ही कामों से विकसित छत्तीसगढ़ का सपना पूरा होगा। छत्तीसगढ़ विकसित होगा तो भारत को विकसित होने से कोई नहीं रोक सकता है।
भारत को विकसित बनाने के लिए हर राज्य अपना योगदान दे रहा है, जिनमें छत्तीसगढ़ एक मजबूत स्तंभ के रूप में उभरकर सामने आया है। ऊर्जा निर्माण की अपार संभावनाओं वाला प्रदेश छत्तीसगढ़ कई राज्यों को ऊर्जा की आपूर्ति कर रहा है और बहुत ही कम समय में एक पावर हाउस बन गया है। विकास के प्रति प्रतिबद्ध माननीय प्रधानमंत्री आज छत्तीसगढ़ में विद्युत, ऑयल एंड गैस, रेलवे, सड़क, शिक्षा और आवास की लगभग 33,700 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक की परियोजनाओं का शिलान्यास, कार्य प्रारंभ और राष्ट्र को समर्पण कर रहे हैं एवं मेमू ट्रेन सेवा को हरी झंडी दिखाकर रवाना कर रहे हैं। साथ ही माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की उपस्थिति में आज 3 लाख लाभार्थी गृह प्रवेश कर रहे हैं। परियोजनाओं में विद्युत मंत्रालय की 26,200 करोड़ रुपए की परियोजनाएं शामिल हैं। एनटीपीसी सीपत सुपर थर्मल पावर परियोजना चरण 3 का विस्तार किया जा रहा है, जिसके जुड़ जाने से इसकी कुल क्षमता 3,780 मेगावाट हो जाएगी। चरण 3 में लगभग 9,800 करोड़ रुपए के निवेश से किफायती एवं विश्वसनीय बिजली उत्पादन सुनिश्चित होगा और बढ़ी क्षमता से कई राज्यों को किफायती दर पर बिजली मिलेगी। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री राज्य में पावर ट्रांसमिशन नेटवर्क को बढ़ावा देने के लिए 600 करोड़ रुपए के निवेश से पावर ग्रिड की 3 परियोजनाओं को राष्ट्र को समर्पित कर रहे हैं। ये परियोजनाएं क्षेत्र की बढ़ती ऊर्जा मांग